Hello and welcome everybody, and thank you for joining me again. My name is Wilkie, and as you may be able to tell, I'm not exactly fully well up. I caught a cold on Saturday, basically, but fortunately it's literally only my nose that is affected, so I will sound a bit different, or maybe quite a bit different, but other than that I feel pretty well, so I still wanted to make this video because I postponed it from Friday because, I started to feel not so well. But with the upcoming server merge and a possible extension of the maintenance and stuff like that, I did not want to wait any longer. So yeah, please bear with me that I might sound a bit different. But yeah, what I'm going to talk about is the Musa slash Blader skill build. I'd like to call this the intermediate one. Yeah, we're basically just going to go over my skill build, which I think is pretty solid for somebody around my standing. And you can take this as a reference point. And other than that, I might do, I guess, budget builds, something I did on the Ranger as well, for people that are starting and they don't have a lot of skill points, so they just need the mandatory skills to level up or to use the class effectively. If you require that, or if you want me to do that, then I could possibly do that after the server merge. But for now, we're just gonna go over my skills and the reason I took them. Now, to make this short, so I don't have to strain myself all too much, for the Awakening, I literally took every skill there is for 57. I took everything, including the Crescent Blade trading, which, as far as the current testing is concerned, does not have any impact on any of the other skills, but still, just for the sake of it, I took it. If I'm gonna reset my skills, this will get reset as well, so there's no reason not to take it for testing purpose. Other than that, I pretty much took everything that the Awakening had to offer for me at 57. Plus, I had a couple skill points left, so I went and took certain blade skills, because this will be quite important, and they may actually alter the way you PvP. Maybe even PvE, but mostly this is going to be concerned for PvP or certain, I guess, CC chains and options you have. Now, going over to the blade. I think Musa Spirit is pretty obvious, I don't have to talk about that. Same goes for Chase. Ultimate Nemesis Slash. There is pretty much the reason Flow Nemesis Slash allows you to use this skill even though you have the Crescent Blade, for example, after Fiery Crevice, which is going to look like this. So that basically allows you to get your HP recovery skill even though you have your Crescent Blade out, which is really good. It'll prevent you, or not prevent you, but you don't have to switch to the blade in order to be using that, so I think this is a very great addition. And the skill itself doesn't deal too bad damage, so it's not always a nice thing to have. So I definitely take this. For both PvE and PvP, this is a very good sustain skill, so definitely take it. Other than that, Dragon Bite, I've seen some people take it. I'm not too fond of it, so I'm not entirely sure if this is making any sense or not. But maybe there's personal preference, maybe there's hidden combos we haven't figured out yet. But I personally don't like it to mix up with the Crescent Blade, so I didn't take it. Now, other than that, the passive, or all of the passives you can take are pretty much no-brainers. If you have the skill points, take them. If you don't have the skill points, evaluate if you want to rank up some of your active skills, or if you better invest into your passives. Other than that, I did take Charged Stub Arrow, which I don't think in hindsight was a good choice because the game became so much faster with the Awakenings out. So I don't think this is a skill that will be used very often. The Stub Arrow and Double or Triple Shot for that matter, on the other hand, are probably a good addition to have a ranged poke and CC in order to either disrupt maybe Rangers or catch somebody who's trying to escape. So I think this is definitely a good thing to have. And now this is where things get a bit more interesting. You can see me having Blooming and Rising Storm and Blooming Phantom as well. Now I kind of have to backpedal a bit, and if you've done the quest, and I assume you have because you're watching an Awakening skill build, then the quest basically tells you to use Rising Storm and then press C. And what this does is it'll allow you to fast switch from Awakening to your basic weapon, or vice versa. This can be easily done by just using auto attacks, and this will prevent this very long animation of you switching these weapons. but there is more to that. And if you remember, blooming has shift LMB plus RMB as an input command. And as you might have figured out, this actually works even though you have your Crescent Blade out. And what that means is basically you can use blooming even though you're dashing around with your Crescent Blade. So what this could be looking like is you just use chase forward or backwards, and then just do the input. And that's it. And you automatically switched from Crescent Blade or from Mushindo to your Blade, using Blooming Phantom in the process, and afterwards you're obviously in your Blade stance. So you're basically left with the idea of what to do. And what I find the most suitable for me is, I'm going to explain two things here real quick. First off, after blooming, I will be using Rising Storm, and there's a simple reason for that. It lifts targets on successful hit, giving you SCC after you stunt them with blooming, giving you more damage and them having lying on the ground, so you can use certain skills. And also, I find this the best and quickest way to transition back from the Blade to your Mushindo. And what I mean by that is, I guess I'd have to explain one more thing. That the reason I have projection, which is Shift RB on a hotkey, is very simple. And that is, or the reason is, it'll allow me to switch basically from most or any blader or blade skill to the Mushindo. And what I mean by that is I'm just going to go for the full rotation. I de-equipped most of my attack speed. I'm not sure whether one, or this is where the attack speed came from. So this is a bit easier. Wait, I can't do that. So this will be a bit easier to follow. But basically, starting off with the Crescent Blade, what you will do is either forward or backwards. I'm just going to go backwards. Chase, blooming, Rising Storm, and as you're doing Rising Storm, you're just going to press 4 or whatever hotkey you put projection on. And this will sort of cancel Rising Storm and give you the projection hit, as well as switching you back to the Mushindo, which then allows you to do whatever you want. And you can see where this is going. There's a lot of potential in that, but this is probably the most prominent combo. A lot of people are already using it. I've seen guys in the arena already do that. So I think this is not something completely new, but there might be people not having figured this one out. And I think this is a very good combo. Like I said, blooming actually hits quite hard. So I think this is really good. Rising Storm is not too shabby either. And after that, you're going to whack your enemy. Obviously, I don't have projection extra credit or flow extra credit. But you're still going to whack the enemy with a projection, which still is actually a pretty good hit. So, and also has the down attack and air attack. So if you're fast enough, you might actually be able to get some of these extra procs. So one last time, chase into blooming, into Rising Storm, and then into flow projection or projection. One of the very basic combos. And there's a lot more to that between switching from Crescent Blade to Blade or the other way around. And there's also a lot more cancels that are hidden, but this is something for another video. This was basically just meant to explain the reason why I took certain skills in this, as I called it, or dubbed it, intermediate skill build. And yeah, this is pretty much all of the input I want to give you with that. Thank you guys for checking this guide out. If you have any questions or any trouble understanding what I said, or maybe due to my cold, I'm not able to pronounce everything too well, feel free to let me know, and I'll gladly help you out with that. But other than that, thank you guys for sticking around, and after the merge, I will definitely make more videos. And yeah, so stay tuned for that, and hopefully see you guys on the new world as well.